What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Everyday Struggle from the Crib. I am Nadeska. I'm here with Wayno and Academics. We want to apologize for suddenly disappearing last week, but I think Academics has an explanation for us this morning. What's good, Ac?
I got some.
It's all my fault. It's all my fault. Hey, listen. A whole roller coaster of events happened last week. Some a little bit too personal for me to get all the way into, and I'll probably tell later anyway. But still, I don't even know what to say.
Should we just go to the jokes?
No, hold on.
I got some theories, so go ahead, Act. Let it go.
I know your theory is gonna become the fact if I don't clear it up a little bit. So let me get to it. So what I'm saying is, it all started, okay, when me and a particular person, I won't name who it is somebody who's very close. Like they had to go get tested for the coronavirus, this and third. Basically, from there on, we did this mad early in the morning. We wait in line, blah, blah. They got tested. They got some rapid tests. They get fucking like almost like diagnosed, which I thought I was on some shit. After that, literally, I was MIA. And that's the part that I won't get into right now.
Okay, so Wayno, I'm invested in your theory. Yeah,
I thought it was very, very, very convenient that 6ix9ine comes home and then we can't find Academics. So I'm like, damn, maybe Act went to a remote island for them to, do some content or some other stuff. I don't know what's going on, but I just know that 6ix9ine came home and then Academics went missing.
I mean, honestly, like, all right. So my brother works in a mental institution. Well, not mental institution. I don't know what exactly. I don't want to disrespect wherever, like, people who have psychological problems go. But he works there. There's a patient that really came in that actually had the virus. He was exposed, brought the nigga to get tested. He actually had it. And because of that, like, it's a whole roller coaster of events. Like, our family, we've been all secluded, just trying to make sure everything was good. I couldn't tape that day because I was with them. And I was pretty much good to tape the next day. But, like, I honestly, it was probably better off that, and by the way, thank you to Nadeska. Like, that's why Nadeska's my sister. Like, she was like, let's take a couple days off and just come back on Monday. So I really appreciate her for that. But you know what? Wayno, your theory sounds really good, and I don't mind if you go with that one. I'm sorry.
We was worried for your well-being, you know what I mean? But once we found out you was good, let the jokes fly.
The jokes fly every time. We were definitely a little bit worried. So next time we just ask for slightly more details, but we're glad to have you back. We're glad to be back. And guys, I don't think we're going to have any more random hiatuses. Hopefully not. We'll see. All right. So,
I'm trying to
put another one in right now.
He's like, wait.
No, not at all. I'm not gonna lie, I miss being in studio. Like, I do like doing it at the crib, but like, I do miss, like, the morning routine of just like leaving the house and coming, because that's probably the only time I leave the crib. Like, now I'm doing everything from the crib.
It's definitely a process of how we did the show. So,
how's your sleep schedule going? So we're used to waking up at like 5:30 in the morning. I'm all over the place now. I was struggling to get up at 8 because I was up till 2 a.m. I can't get back on a routine. Having a hard time.
My sleep schedule is determined by Netflix, and right now, I watch Good Girls already, so Money Heist is the thing that's like I'm binge watching, and
it's so good. It's so good.
Oh, you've watched it?
I haven't seen the brand new season yet, but it's such a good show. Oh, shit. What is it, Casa del Papel or something in Spanish? It's super dope. Anyway, I guess we should talk about rap right now. Ready? All right, so over the weekend, actually on Easter Sunday, happy Easter, I guess, if you guys celebrated. It was Easter weekend. Diddy celebrated by hosting a dance-a-thon to raise money for the healthcare workers who are battling COVID-19, which is really dope. He had a lot of famous guests drop by, people like Drake, J-Lo, Lizzo, and LeBron. One of the interesting things that happened during this dance-a-thon is Diddy telling Drake that he's in his top 5. He said 2 to 3 years ago he didn't know if Drake was in the top 5, but he's finally put in the work. Now, you guys remember they had beef a few years ago over I think it was a beef for 0 to 100, and Diddy allegedly hit Drake. Are you surprised to hear this? Like, what has Drake done in the past 2 to 3 years that wouldn't have qualified him prior to be in Diddy's top 5, you think?
I want Wayno to answer this first.
Okay.
Because I do feel like Wayno has some low-key resentment when he hear about Drake in top 5.
Nah, I don't. I think that Drake is definitely in the top 5, today. I think that he's one of the greatest artists that has ever made music as well. But as far as for Diddy, I think that it's just been changing. First of all, they had their issues or whatever, but I think it's just like changing his perception of music overall. Like I don't think that Drake is looked at anymore as the little nerdy dude or whatever, or the guy who doesn't come from certain things. As far as making music, he has like the ultimate respect. He had his share of battles, but I think how he handled himself in the Pusha T shit in the end probably changed Diddy's perception a little bit. I think like, you know, just for Diddy, I think it's just hit making and his consistency. Like if we look at Diddy, everybody wants Diddy to battle like JD and all these different people, but if you just look at Diddy as an overall like shit, not just a businessman, but an executive producer and an artist, all we think about is hits. So with Drake's career, has been nothing but hits, nothing but hits, nothing but hits, classics, hits, classic hits. So I think that like that's what Diddy respects out of him more than anything, just the consistency of how he's been putting out music at such a high level for like 10 years now. You know, I think that's if I was Diddy, that's what would change my perception of him.
That's an interesting point. It's just that he's already had so many hits over the past decade, but it's interesting that you mentioned like the Pusha T beef, for example. Do you think that plays into it, or you think it's what Wayno said, just seeing that he still had more left in him, music-wise?
You know, I do look at Diddy as, you know, well, it's not even Diddy is hip-hop, you feel me? And of course, I do think he respects the art of the battle, but I think what most notably Diddy respects is someone who's successful and someone who's a hit maker. As Wayno said, consistency. I think secretly, this is just me, secretly, all the OGs, it's kind of like Michael Jordan, right? When he was watching Kobe having his run, he wanted Kobe to fall off a little bit, a little quicker. Just like how they probably look at LeBron. I honestly think a lot of the OGs, not that they hate no Drake, but they were like, yo, he can't have that influence and can't be on top for 10 plus years. At some point, he's going to kind of like retire to that OG but still put out good music type of thing. And he's still super relevant. He's still breaking his own records. I do think that at some point, you got to give it up to him. And I was very glad that Diddy actually gave him his flowers.
Yeah, I think he was looked at as an outsider too. Like the same way, not the same way how everybody looks at like a little pump and shit like that. But it was a point in time where people looked at Drake as an outsider because like his music wasn't rooted in the streets. So I think that played a big part as well. You know what I mean? Like him not coming from certain shit. Go ahead, Mo. Go ahead.
I was super happy that Diddy said it because, you know, sometimes I get accused of, yo, you're riding the bandwagon, you dick run. I'm not gonna lie, in the last year, it kind of happened for me too, where I feel like, yo, when I'm having that GOAT conversation, not only just like, oh, this era, because like we do this all the time. Oh yeah, he's a top 3 in this era, and then we're like, oh, him. I think he's in a legit debate for Mount Rushmore. I believe that. You get me? I also believe if someone was going to say greatest of all time overall, that's also a debate. I do think that people are coming around now and seeing Diddy acknowledge that, whether it was just facetious because they're on live or he really means it, or maybe he just wants a hit because Diddy will tell you some shit for you to write him another hit. But I think people are coming around, you know, because I think at one point people would be like, yo, they were trying to pop him out. Pause. You know, like they were trying to like, yo, yeah, he's popped. So like, do we consider Nelly like one of the top 5? You know what I mean? Like they're trying to do that to him. I think now people are like, yo, fuck it, man. Like he's kind of up there with everybody else we really respect.
Yeah. All of that said, I'm really excited to hear how this album sounds compared to Scorpion. He said, this is Drake speaking. This is the most excited I've been about an album in a long time. The most music I've ever been sitting on. And I think last week he previewed a collab he had with Playboi Carti as well. Did you guys see his mansion spread in Architectural Digest, by the way? He lives in a museum. The shit is crazy. It doesn't even look like a house, an actual museum.
Hey, man, that's what happens when you work hard, I guess, right?
No, but this is what... I'm glad that he has that because just like 50 said, his house supposedly costs $80 million, but you got to keep making a lot of money to keep that upkeep. You got butlers and shit like that, which means hopefully he'll be on top for another 10 years that he could keep paying for that mansion.
Yo, butlers got to be quarantined in with him. Huh? I said the butler's got to be quarantined in with him. That's crazy.
Shit, imagine the salary.
I'm going to send you a link. He has like an Hermes bag, like some rare, I feel like it's like diamond and gold encrusted. Like what's Drake actually carrying in an Hermes bag? You know what that is, Zach? Those like Birkins, like $50,000 bags. This one must cost almost $1 million. It's crazy.
And by the way, this is, you know, as much as we say like he broke out of that little corny mold, yo, he has fucking Tupac playing when you take a piss in the bathroom. He's a guy who saves the. He even said yo, I got the mic that Pusha T signed upstairs still. Like he's still a little corny, like geeky like that, but like he has a lot more respect.
All right, so one of the biggest battles we've seen so far happened this weekend. This was RZA and DJ Premier, which is pretty legendary. They went at it for 20 songs. Over 850,000 people tuned in. Unfortunately, academics and I were not one of those 850,000 people, but Wayno, how is it to witness that live?
Yo, so what's crazy is like on a regular, it just shows you how important these times are, because if this is a random Saturday and DJ Premier and RZA just playing records, I don't think they get a quarter of that type of engagement. You know what I'm saying? So it's like just to see how people are paying attention is really dope. And I'm one of those people who was talking shit about the battles. I ain't gonna lie, it just depends on who's battling. But yo, that entire battle was like my childhood. It's like every single song I heard, from Gangstar to Wu-Tang to Biggie to Big L, like it was so many records. It had me going on like who sampled and going to the samples and seeing how many samples they was mashing up samples into the records. It just was really dope. I think that like if you're a young kid right now, you know how everybody gives these young kids so much flack for not getting their education on the music. I think right now is the time, you know, because you don't really have to do not that you don't have to do homework, but you can get so much information from a live like that, just watching it and just writing shit down. I was blown away. I ain't gonna lie. That shit was my whole entire... It was like elementary school, junior high school, early high school, every album I loved. So it was dope. I ain't gonna lie. It was really dope.
I did not watch the battle. I wish I did. And by the way, I'll probably definitely catch it on YouTube or some type of rebroadcast, you know. By the way, salute to Swiss Beats. He always like hits me with a DM to let me know like what battle that's coming up next. Him and Timbaland doing a phenomenal job. I love what they're doing. But also, I definitely want to like salute to, you know, what they call the boomer generation now, in terms of like not like the little kids that usually run the internet that make the little pump and the smoke perps like popular, but like we're getting to realize like when you see like DJ D Nice like have like 200,000 people watching him live playing old school throwbacks, like sometimes the internet is seen as like, yo, it's only the kids. You feel me? And when you see people who are either grown and they're watching like they're watching like battles like DJ Premier and RZA, like they're seeing their childhood, and it's that amount of engagement. Maybe it's just because of quarantine, because niggas usually have jobs and you can't really go live. But still, I actually like that a lot. Like I respect the fact that everybody's tuned in, and the thing is, whatever you like, you just go towards what you like. You know what I mean? You want to be on Demon Time Mondays? Go to Demon Time Mondays. You want to go watch the battles? Go watch the battles. So that's the only thing I really like. You know, I wish I was there because I seen a small clip, and to see some of the legends who are in the comments section just kind of, you know, hyping it up, like they're excited too. So, you know, I'm gonna definitely watch it.
Yeah, it's dope. It was really dope. I ain't gonna lie, it was dope.
I'm gonna catch up too. Last week we were talking about 2 Chainz sort of issuing a challenge to, well, a lot of people, Snoop responded, I believe, but he issued one directly to Meek and Mill. So we have a fan question following up on this one, when he was saying no one could go hit for hit with him or the South. Question: y'all might think I'm crazy, but I think someone young from New York can get 2 Chainz in a hit for hit live battle. He said, I think A Boogie, and I'm not the biggest A Boogie fan, just my opinion. Wondering what y'all think.
Well, I think that person, like they said, we might think you crazy. I think you're crazy, right? And that's specifically based on like why A Boogie got a lot of hits. We basing. I don't want to have somebody battle a person who's had a 15+ year career with somebody who's had a 4-year career. You know, like it's cool, but is the music gonna last the test of time? And A Boogie makes a lot of great music, but I don't think that 2 Chainz music and what he's done over the past 10-15 years, like you could even play it against A Boogie's, only because it's like, what are we doing here? Like, what is this a battle, or are we just trying to create conversation?
We should get that fan tested for the coronavirus. There might be new symptoms, psychosis. Like, I don't know what they're talking about. I love A Boogie. A Boogie's, I'm really cool with A Boogie.
Right.
But you know, like I was thinking about tiers and like who could battle who, and I seen Rich the Kid recently called out A Boogie, then he called out Trippie Redd, and I was like, I don't think Rich the Kid could keep up with the A Boogie. And actually, when I think about it, I said maybe Tory Lanez and A Boogie could go at it. Here's the thing: when you talk about somebody like 2 Chainz, especially not only 2 Chainz, even French, and whether I guess sometimes it becomes the conversation of should we count featured songs, because you have a bunch of songs where 2 Chainz is featured on in terms of either Wayne songs or even songs with like good music, right? And French Montana, he's on a lot of features as well. But regardless, here's the thing, and this is why I thought I don't know if Tory felt offended. Tory's my guy anyway, so if he did, he'd be alright. But when I said that French washed him, Tory does have hits, but here's the difference. Like, some of these songs that French has been on, I remember them not only being hot, like, these days songs hot for like 3 to 4 weeks. Those songs were hot for 4 to 6 months. You remember them for half a year. You remember Stay Scheming, niggas quoting that for the whole year. You get me? Like, it's hard to defeat songs like that. It's a test of catalog, but also a test of, are you making microwavable shit? You feel me? And, I don't think A Boogie's making microwavable shit, but let's talk about him and 2 Chainz. What song would you say of A Boogie would you have said has ran or dominated any period of time? Would you say Look Back at It? Would you say Swerving? Those shit pale in comparison to I'm Different, to the It's Your Birthday, to Duffel Bag Boys. So how are we going to have that type of conversation? So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's just a misinformed kid just having fun.
For that fan, I'm gonna recommend he get checked for the coronavirus.
Okay, wait. In his defense, though, he did say y'all are gonna think I'm crazy, but I want to ask the question anyway. Don't let these 2 discourage you from sending your questions. We appreciate them. Keep sending those at Everyday Strug on Twitter with 2 G's. How about this one? So, The Weeknd's new album, After Hours, is doing incredibly well. I don't think anyone is surprised by that, but this man very rarely does interviews, and after this, he probably never will again. So, he did a feature with Variety where he was talking about the impact of House of Balloons. He said it literally changed the sound of pop music before my eyes, and went on to say that when he first heard Usher's 2012 single Climax, he actually thought it was a Weeknd song. He said he felt it was very flattering, but eventually it made him angry, and then he realized as he got older that it was a good thing. Now, after this happened, Usher went and launched the Climax Challenge on Instagram, got people stirred up, and Diplo, who actually produced the song, eventually said on Twitter that The Weeknd's early era of music did influence the song. Weeknd finally responded to Diplo. Again, very rarely does he even tweet like this. He said, no hard feelings. He said, of course, media blows things out of proportion and takes things out of context. Usher's a king and always an inspiration, so it was flattering to hear what him and Diplo did. Just to start at the beginning, when you guys heard Climax, do you hear remnants of early Weeknd in that song? Was that your first thought when you heard the song a few years ago?
All right. So when I heard that song, and let's define what the Weeknd style is that has now become pop. When House of Balloons dropped, of course, House of Balloons Thursday. When all of those little EPs dropped, we were hearing a very dark sounding, it didn't sound commercial. And obviously, I think he made that commercial by, he made songs like Often, which is kind of like his earlier works, big. Here's the thing about Usher's song. And yes, they might have got some influence to put it out as a single because of the Weeknd's success and him changing the landscape of what R&B was sounding like, at least on a commercial level. But that's, to me, all I heard was an attempt at like a falsetto song. Like, are we giving like all fucking, unless I'm wrong, maybe I'm wrong, like, are we giving anything that is like the Weeknd's signature to me is dark, misogynistic, fucking, I'm serious, like drug promoting rhythms, like, honestly. And I really don't think that Climax was that at all. You feel me? Again, the sound somewhat similar, but for him to get mad, and again, I agree with also the Weeknd. Anytime you do an interview with a paper, like a paper interview where people can't hear the context, yes, those quotes are gonna be a little bit like, yo, it looks like he's mad, but he clarified he's not mad. But I don't think it was that much influence. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, but even if he was, I think like, for every time there's a new guy doing something, and I've seen it with like fucking Gerald Levert, like different artists, like they'll use whatever's going on, you know what I mean, as a sound to make them a little bit more updated. We don't kind of view Usher as an older artist. We just view him as Usher because he's just so timeless. But Usher is an older artist, and like, yeah, sometimes they do the same shit as rappers. They might take a little bit of influence from what's going on. But I think like for a legend like Usher, like even if he did do it with that in mind, it's not nothing bad. So I'm happy that Weeknd cleared that shit up quickly because things like that get out of hand.
Yeah, and also I would call him a flat out hypocrite. You know why? Because when you first came out, you just sounded like the non-pop, child-loving version of Michael Jackson. You were redoing his songs, Dirty Diana. You were basically sounding a lot like him. Imagine if Paris Jackson, somebody from the States, said, you know what, when we heard this Weeknd guy, especially like singing over some of our dad or our guys' music, we kind of felt mad. This nigga's ripping us off. No, I'm sorry. Like, music, I've learned this, and I learned this from a Jamaican artist, Beanie Man. He said this. He said if nothing isn't good if it's not copied. If you do anything good, someone's gonna try to either imitate or you're gonna influence someone, and that's what music is, yo. That's why sampling is a thing. We don't look at it as stealing.
Yeah, I feel you. Some motherfuckers is just biters, but I feel you though.
Alright. No, tasteless, not, yeah, but not a legend. Like, tasteless shit is like,
I know what you mean.
All right, well, either way, that album is still doing really well. Ak, you want to take us through some numbers?
Yeah, I actually, well, what?
You usually do.
Right.
All right. Well, the Weeknd After Hours, it's definitely number one for the third straight week, and it sold about 90,000, which, to be honest, I was surprised, not by him, because, of course, he did 400 coming out the gate, but Rod Wave, someone who we've championed here, I think we're probably one of the earliest, like, shows to kind of, like, be like, yo, we fuck with him. And by the way, he even hit me up to say thank you for that. But, he sold 72,000, which if you're looking at the release of his projects over time, it's going up. People are really getting into his music. I think that's really dope. Uzi, he was at number 3. He sold 69,000 with Eternal Take, the deluxe, and Lil Baby, My Turn, which his deluxe is coming up soon. It did about 50,000, actually 48. Roddy Ricch still in the top 10 with 38,000, even though he doesn't have the number one song in the country anymore. And my man Tory, he is expected to sell about 65,000 with the new Toronto 3, which he just dropped this Friday.
Ain't Drake creeping up on the number one though?
Oh yeah, Drake is expected. Next Monday when it's officially, or actually no, I think it's today. When did he release that song? He's supposed to be number one. So Drake Tootsie Slide is supposed to be number one. We might get an announcement from Billboard like later today. So it'll be second song since God's Plan to debut at number one. You can't beat a nigga like that, bro. The niggas fucking with the TikTok niggas, man. Come on, bro. I'm sorry.
All right, well, we're still expecting a lot of big albums coming this year. People, obviously, Drake's album, Cole, hopefully Kendrick. So we'll see. We have a fan question about this, about sort of our heavy hitters dropping project. We'll get to it tomorrow, though, because we're almost out of time. I'll just end on this note. Lil Bibby was on Instagram recently just, reminiscing about Juice WRLD, and he did confirm in his comments that a new Juice WRLD album is coming soon. There's no date set, but, maybe this will be some good closure for his fans.
Yeah, it's still tough to believe. Like, every time I hear his name, it's just tough to believe that this young man is gone. Like, but that's good. That his fans get something, to walk away with out of all of this.
Yeah, I hate to think about like closure like that. Like I feel like an artist like that, his legacy should live on forever. But I will say that in my conversations with him and him playing me music, he had a lot of it done before he died. So it's not one of those albums that got pieced together and it was like, oh, we did like. He had an idea, we're going to make it into a song. So I think he had more than one complete project, to be honest. So, his fans should be happy, and I'm pretty sure his estate is just making sure it's at the right time. So I'm excited.
Okay, something to look forward to. All right, guys, that's our show for today. Are we going to try to work to get back on a normal sleep schedule? Academics, you never had one, so I guess this is a conversation for me and Wayno then.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I've been like, I'm gonna try because it's tough. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I be waking up all types of times, going to sleep all types of times because I don't got to get up at certain times. So it's like I'm gonna figure it out eventually.
You've been working out at home. I finally got a yoga mat. I'm gonna start today.
So I bought some resistance bands. Me and my son been out in front, like putting the resistance bands on the rail of the crib and doing pull ups, all types of stuff. Like we ain't playing no games.
I can see Wayno working out like he in the prison yard, yo. Like I'm sorry, that's the mentality I'm thinking. Like, yo, I'm sorry. No, but
I've never been to prison. I've been to visit somebody academic, so don't put that on me, okay?
Okay, I got you. Listen, yo, I can't wait till actually tomorrow's show because I got a lot of questions about J. Cole and Kendrick during this time. Where the fuck are them niggas at? Come on, it's quarantine. You tell me they're that busy making music they can't get on live. We'll talk about it tomorrow though.
They was quarantining before quarantine was a thing, but
exactly. I'm here to hold people accountable, but I'll do it tomorrow.
All right, man. Guys, thank you for watching. Please send us some more fan questions. Send us a little video clip, too, if you want. 30 seconds or less. We appreciate it, and we'll see you here tomorrow on Everyday Struggle.